See if I still know how to do this. Are we on? We filming? Oh yeah, we live. Welcome back to the channel. What's up, y'all? It's been a hot ass minute. I feel like I don't even know how to do this anymore. But I'm back. I'm alive. I'm well. Can't complain. This is the first video I think since I don't even know when, but it's been a minute though. So long story short, this video, y'all, I'm gonna catch y'all up on everything that y'all missed out on, which you didn't really miss out on a whole lot. Still got the truck, still blown up motor, all that stuff, right? But basically, a lot of you guys, a lot of people commented, asked questions, sent me messages, whatever, about the truck and like the way I'm going forward, right? So in this video, I'm gonna explain everything, the way forward and all that stuff. It's been a minute since I filmed, so make sure you smash the like button, drop a comment. I want to hear what you guys said. I feel like I've been gone forever. If you did not know, I was deployed for 6 months, came back a couple weeks ago in November. Now it's what, December 5th, I think, or something like that. I don't know. But now I'm back. So I have a goal with the truck and trying to get it fixed. So make sure you smash that thumbs up. All right, you guys. So first order of business is my garage is destroyed, okay, in a goodish way. It's a madhouse in here. I got a car seat from my Apollo over here. That's a whole nother story. I got pistons out here, a bag of hardware here. I still got parts everywhere. Got the engine puller, cherry picker, engine stand, tons of oil everywhere. We got like the bearings from a crank and the connecting rods. I got more parts over there, oil pan, oil cooler, the windage tray, pickup tube. I have a mess of stuff, y'all. So long story short, what ended up happening? So I guess I'll take it from here. If you did not know, I blew up the motor on my dually, my 6.7 Cummins, right? So I went back and forth for a while. So obviously it blew up in January, and I knew I was deploying in a couple months. I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna mess with it right now. I'm gonna decide what I want to do and then go from there. When I get back, I'll go from there, right? So obviously I'm back now. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I contemplated selling the truck as is, even though I would take a huge hit and loss on it for having a blown motor, selling it. I've contemplated fixing it with just a used swap motor and then selling it, getting something different. And then I contemplated fixing it up, you know, making it a stout motor and going from there and just riding it out to the sunsets, right? Long story short, what I'm going to end up doing, I think some of y'all will be happy, or most of y'all will be happy, because this is a Cummins enthusiast channel, I feel like, for the most part. I'm going to keep it. So I am going to keep the dually. I am going to replace the motor. The process has already started. The truck is not here though. It's not at my house right now. It's at a storage lot. While I was deployed, I put it in a storage lot, so it's still there right now just because it doesn't run. So when I got back, the week after I got back, the weekend after, actually no, I think it was the weekend. Yeah, the weekend I got back. I went up to Banning, California, and I picked up and this is where you gotta stay with me, y'all. Stay with me. This is where I went and picked up a motor, a short block, so the crank, block, cam, all that stuff. I picked up a motor off Marketplace for 1,500 bucks out of a wrecked truck. It was a guy was selling it. Didn't have much on it, history in terms of like, from the sounds of it, it sounds like he bought the truck from the auction already wrecked, and then he obviously knew the motor was worth something, so he pulled the motor out and stuff. So I took the motor and I bought it for 1,500 bucks. Now it was not running, and he did say that it was bad because he said one of the pistons might be bad on it, or the piston rods, something like that. I said that's fine. I'll take my chance for 15, because at that point I still can get the crank, the block, right? That's $2,000 right there easily. Connecting rods is what it is, right? So I got the motor back. I started breaking it down and everything, and he was right. There was no connecting rod caps installed on the block. On none of the connecting rods, all the caps were gone. They were just missing. The pistons were just slid back down into the engine. So at some point, somebody had went into that engine. Also, the oil pickup tube was not connected. It was just sitting in the oil pan. I took it off, and the tube was just sitting there, right? So someone was in there at one point. I have all the pistons here. I'll show y'all here in a second and stuff like that. But I broke the motor down. I took the block, the crank, and a couple small parts to get cleaned. But I took it to a machine shop here in town, and I'm having them rework the motor. They're gonna check the magnaflux it. Same thing with the crank. They're gonna let me know if the crank is savable, because it did, from the looks of it, spin a connecting rod bearing. But I'm not a professional in terms of that. They got the tools and equipment and the skill set to deem if it's good. So I'm gonna let them do it, man. It's an old school machine shop. They've been in business for God knows how long. Bunch of nice guys though. Rick's Machine Shop. If y'all live in Southern California, out in Santee, I believe. But that's where we're at now. So I dropped off that motor and crank and parts off on Tuesday. Today's Thursday. I should have an answer tomorrow, if not tomorrow, Monday, if the crank is gonna be good. And then what I ended up doing was I jumped on eBay, ordered 6 used connecting rods. When those come in, they're good rods, but when they come in, I'm gonna drop those off. And then by the time I drop those rods off, I'm gonna have an answer for the block. So the block is good. Like it's a good looking block for now. Like there's no obvious damages with the block, which is like the main reason why I went and picked that motor up. That and the crank. I'm waiting on them to let me know if they're gonna just hone out the cylinder walls with the standard size bore, or if they're gonna go 20 thou over. Because the rebuild kit that I'm gonna order for the truck, I already have the kits. The only thing I'm waiting on is to know if I need to get a standard size bore or if I need to get a 20,000 over bore. They're gonna let me know once they inspect it and do all their stuff. So I will go from there. But it comes with everything. It comes with new piston rods, gaskets, all that stuff. Like it's 100% top down, all that stuff. The pistons are slightly wider bowls, which I guess helps with like a little bit of power. You know, it helps somehow. I can't explain it. Combustion, all that stuff, right? So that's where we're at right now. So I'm waiting on ordering the rebuild kit. I did order a camshaft, so this engine is gonna be upgraded. And I already have some of the parts here already, but the engine is gonna have an upgraded camshaft. It's gonna have a Hamilton 178/208 camshaft, which is, some people call them a stage 1. It's a really good cam for towing and for larger single turbo setups, kind of like what the truck has, which is the S468. It helps drop EGTs, all that stuff. So I did get that ordered. Unfortunately, they can't ship to California, so I had to do some stuff to get it to me. But that's on the way. We already have main studs, so I am going to be main studding and connecting rod studs, or hardeners, fasteners, whatever you want to call it. I already have that here. I have those, and then I have some brand new exotic head studs. Oh wait, one sec, my address is on here. But I'll show y'all that real quick. You see right there, it's made to work with the factory girdle, which I had to do a little research because the factory, when I opened the motor up, now mind you, this is like my first 6.7 opening up. These are the head studs from Exotic. They changed their packaging, but I never had an issue with Exotic studs, and they've been good to me, so I'm going to run them again. So shout out to Exotic Performance. They also sent that out too. I hit them up, and they were more than willing to send out a set for the build. So I got the ARP fasteners. I got the Exotic head studs. Where was I? Still got to order an oil pump. So from the looks of this engine, when I was tearing it down, it looked like it honestly had like bearing failure, like a oil, like it either ran out of oil or like it got in an accident and it dumped all the oil, because there was a puncture in the bottom of the oil pan. So some sort of lubrication failure happened. It did have all like the EGR, all the emissions was still on it. Like when I went to his house, it was a legit whole ass 6.7 in the bed of his truck. So I went there with my tools and just started busting things down and stuff to get to the short block section. So I am going to change the oil cooler, put a brand new oil cooler in there, make sure the pickup tube gets cleaned out good. I am more than likely, so this is where logic over ambition kind of kicks in. So the machine shop, I got a quote from them to assemble the short block, right? Now, background, they are the ones that are doing the honing, right? The balancing, the blueprinting, right? I would feel much comfortable paying a certain price to let them blueprint that short block, right? Because there's a lot more in it that you think of when you talk about gap ring clearances, crank clearances, connecting rod clearances, all that stuff. So, you about to leave? Okay, I'm just filming. Okay. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it, and I did at first. I told myself I was going to build the motor myself in the garage. Quickly realizing I can do that, but for a daily driver, like a truck that I'm going to drive all the time and I want to be reliable, like I'm going to take it on road trips and stuff like that, like, is that probably the best thing to do for a first time building the 6.7 for your first time? Probably not. So I'm going to let the machine shop assemble the lower unit for me. So what they'll do is they'll essentially build the short block for me. I'll get the short block, I'll slap the head on, the gasket, do all that stuff, attach all the the other stuff, oil cooler, pretty much everything else, right? But the lower rotating assembly, I will let the machine shop do that, man, because there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. Like, one thing I learned from researching is like the number 6 piston, if you're gonna run more than stock power, right? Like, I plan on running fuel and injectors and CP3. You want to kind of have give a little bit more gap clearance for that number 6, because the number 6 is the hottest cylinder, where it creates the most energy and, like, you know, combustion and stuff in terms of heat, right? So you gap it a little bit wider to where a little bit more pressure can escape, so that way I guess you don't like get the piston stuck or something like that along those lines, right? So that's where I'm at, y'all. But there's so much, man, like so much stuff I just keep thinking about. Yeah, so I mean, that's honestly where we are at right now. This motor should definitely, once it's fully built, between the studs and like, there's no reason this engine shouldn't be able to safely hold 700 horsepower, like, reliably, from the fasteners and stuff like that. I'm not going to ceramic coat the pistons. That's like getting into racing. Like, this truck's not going to be a race setup. It's going to be just a legit fun ass street truck that can tow like a motherfucker, and it's still fun to drive. I have no intentions or ambitions to like take this bitch to the strip and just beat the shit out of it, right? So it's not a race truck, right? So I know it's very easy to say make that bitch 1500 horsepower, but that also comes with money, right? So this route I'm taking, why am I taking this route, right? And I'm not afraid to admit it, but cost has a huge factor into this, y'all. Like, y'all, I'm sure some of y'all had to deal with this before, right? But so put it in perspective. If I wanted a basic stock rebuild long block, right? Nothing fancy, just a fresh rebuilt long block. The average cost is around, we'll just say about 4,500 to 55, 6,500, depending on what company you go with, right? That does not include the core charge. And that's where I'm getting hurt at the most, is the core charge, because my block, I don't get a core. Your core charge is going to roughly run you between $2,500 to like $3,000, depending on what company you go to, right? So I'm losing. So me paying $6,000 for a fresh built long block is cool, but in reality I'm paying like $9 grand because I'm losing my core, right? So that's, and I know, and I'm losing my core, so I don't really want to spend that much money, right? So like, it was hard for me because I'm like doing the numbers, like, y'all, I sat down, I had my pad out, my notepad, I'm crunching numbers, like, because at the end of the day, like, I'm a regular dude, right? Like, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I can drop 10K just like that on a fucking engine. Like, no, I don't. And that, like, that's why I put it on the back burner too when it first happened, y'all. So it's like, I want it to be as strategic but also as effective as possible, right? So on top of that, I decided, it started off like this, right? And shout out to my dog Eric, because I talk to him a lot. I was like, all right, I watched enough videos, I did enough research, reading all sorts of stuff. I know I can rebuild this motor in my garage. If I get all the parts, take my time, I can do it. That wasn't the issue. That wasn't the issue, right? And after I took it to the machine shop and started talking to them and doing more research, I'm like, do I really want to do it on my first build? Like, do this one, my first one? Yes, but at the same time, I feel like intuition and common sense says let someone who knows what they're doing do it. Don't worry, one day I'm gonna get a project diesel 12 valve something, I don't know, but one day I'm gonna get it and I'm gonna rebuild it myself, like, step by step, right? So that's where I'm at with that, right? Now, the way I'm going about this, where I'm letting a machine shop assemble the lower unit for me, or the short block, and then they're going to give it to me, what that does is two things. One, that assures that you have a professional or someone who knows what they're doing looking at it and doing it and building it, right? And not like putting liability on them, but at the same time, you know, someone who's doing it right is going to do it. But at the same time, I'm saving money because they're just doing a short block. They're not pulling a motor for me. They're not swapping it. They're not, like, I'm going to still have to bolt on all the outside parts and stuff, the head, all that stuff, right? So I save a lot of money doing that. And that stuff I know very confidently I can do. I think one of the biggest things first time Cummins builders mess up is the oil pump, for example. Like, you have to sequentially tighten it down and torque it to spec, because if not, you won't have any oil pressure. You go to start that motor up, it'll start up, and then you're going to wipe out your main bearings. Like, I'm not trying to do that, right? So I do a lot of research, a lot of reading, talking and stuff like that. Like, And this, and when I say research, I'm not talking about Facebook groups and all that. I'm talking like actual like old school forums where people actually used to put like constructive information in there, not just some random motherfucker yabbing and typing some bullshit, right? So I did that. I still got to pick up a manual, the Cummins manual, wherever I can get that from. So I get that. But that's where we're at though. Yeah. Oh man, it's so much shit. Goddamn. So that's really that. I know it sounds like a lot, y'all, and I feel like I was rambling, but like that's where I'm coming from. That's what we're doing. I have nothing. I wish. So here's the deal. Why it took me so long to make a video. I lost my charging cable, my cable for my camera, and it took me almost 2 weeks to realize that. So then I ordered one on Amazon. It came in. Once it came in, I charged the camera, and now I'm able to make the film. Right. So it's like I really wish I could have filmed breaking the engine down so you guys could see with me what's going on with the engine and stuff. It's not a crazy hard process. It's honestly pretty straightforward. I think the hardest thing for me, at least, was transferring the engine from the sling to the stand, because you would think a Harbor Freight sling or cherry picker and a Harbor Freight engine stand, the legs on the stand are too wide, or it's too wide to where it doesn't let you slide in all the way. So you got to kind of, you can see the way I have it right here, this setup. This is how it was when I pulled the motor from here or put it off the stand to put it on here, because we had to load it in the back of my buddy's pickup truck. So this is the camshaft right here. So I'll pull that cam out. I'm not going to use it. I just need the retainer and the I don't even sprocket, whatever you want to call cam gear, right? Here are the original pistons that came out, or I say original. Here are the pistons that came out. So like I said, y'all, there was no caps. I don't have caps. I did learn something too when I went to the machine shop. There's two different types of caps, because when I first saw this cap, I thought they like cracked off, right? So you got cracked and non-cracked piston connecting rods, right? And I thought this was pretty cool, right? So these versions here are called cracked because it looks like they cracked from the top portion of the connecting cap, right? Which is actually what they do. So he told me like they freeze it, put it in cryo, freeze it, and then they snap it, and it snaps like that. The only thing is these are match sets. Like once you crack it, it has to stay there. So I can't do nothing with these connecting rods. All the pistons, none of the pistons had holes in them. None of them were melted. They all came out super simple. Just tapped them out, right? So that's a good sign. You can see on some of these bearings, if you look closely, like that's heat. That bluing, that bitch got hot, man. So the original tappets, these ones were fine. All the tappets look good. I dropped a couple of them though, but it doesn't matter because I got new tappets coming. It comes with the cam kit. So I bought the Hamilton cam kit. That's not it, but I bought one. It comes with the tappets, the camshaft, and I don't know what else it comes with. I think that's it. Actually, yeah, it is. I bought just the camshaft, and then I bought the tappets on top. That's right, because we have springs, heavy-duty valve springs and push rods coming from my boy Mac over at MDC Diesel. Shameless plug. Check his website out. I got a promo code, Everything Diesel. You'll save a bunch of discount codes, save some money on turbos and all sorts of stuff. Power Stroke, Duramax, and Cummins. Check them out. Stuff is down below. What else? I guess I can show y'all the bearings. So I won't show you. I'll show you the connecting rod bearings. So all of the crank bearings were good. So like this is a crank bearing, right? And they're all fine. The crank spun smooth as butter in the block, no issues. But then I show you something like this, and this is a connecting rod bearing, just completely wiped out. So I got my fingers crossed on the crank. Whether if it can get regrinded and stuff, I don't know. So we'll see. I'll show you some more stuff over here. Like I said, oil pan. So we got the oil pan, pickup tube. The pickup tube was sitting just like this. Like you see how it sits in the pan? It was like that when I took the oil pan off the motor. I was missing this bolt and this bolt, and I was missing the two connecting bolts. If you have pickup tube bolts, shoot me an email or DM me on Instagram because I need some. So I need 4. I need the 2 there, and I need these 2 for these clips here. Shoot me a DM, let me know, because when I was taking the windage tray off, I was missing obviously those 2 in that spot. So I'm short 4 bolts. Front case cover. I took off. Oh yeah, there's an oil pump. Y'all let me know. Actually, I don't actually know. Never mind, I changed my mind. I was gonna say, let me know if y'all think I should reuse this oil pump or buy a new one, but I already know what everybody's gonna say. This is a heater block thing. So that's the thing too with this engine, and maybe if someone's in a similar situation like me. So my mindset, my thought process is, for an engine that failed due to what seems like some sort of oil starvation or oil and lubrication issue, anything within that system, I don't recommend reusing, right? The oil pump, the oil cooler, especially the cooler, because that oil cooler has, and there was, when I took the oil pan off, and you can see little flakes, the little flakes of the bearing material. There was bearing material at the bottom of the block. It wasn't like cracked or damaged or anything, but there was like flakes from the, you know what I'm saying, from it, right? And you got to think, if you're going to take that risk of that tiny little, even if it's a small little speck in that oil cooler, and you put that oil cooler in and then you run oil through it, all it takes is that one little piece to wipe out a bearing after a fresh built motor. Like, from the sounds of it, it looks like I can get an oil cooler for like $100. Like for $100 versus another $8, like I'll pay the $100 for an oil cooler. Same thing with the oil pump. Oil pump's roughly like $120, man. So I'm fine buying those brand new. That way I know there won't be any issues with it in terms of contamination and all that stuff. And just go from there. So long term, so what do I still need? So I still need to, I need a fuel system. Currently in the talks with Flux Diesel, or Flux Injection, yeah, Flux Diesel, up to get some injectors. What I want to do is I want to run 100% overs in a 10 mil CP3. So we still got to get a CP3, still got to get injectors. I'm thinking early January, beginning of the new year, I'll be able to get those on order. I'm just being smart, man. I'm just taking my time. There's no set when this is going to be done. This is kind of like a, I finish it when I finish it, right? It's obviously I have more vehicles and stuff like that, so like I'm not too worried and too concerned and all that stuff like that. So I'm just waiting to see, man. But I would love to hear what you guys have to say, or in terms of tips, comments, recommendations, other parts I need. I'm trying to think. I don't need. I'm gonna get a new oil pump, new oil cooler. I'm looking. Trying to think. Yeah, I mean that's really it. Anybody got a 10 mil CP3 out there for sale? You're more than welcome to shoot me a DM. Let me know. But yeah, I'm like systematically doing this, right? So first things first is I'm waiting for I need to order my rebuild kit. Rebuild kit's $1,200. Once I find out what size bore, standard or oversized, then I can order the right kit. That way I get the right size pistons. Once I get that ordered, get that to them, and then also I'm on standby for a crank, because I don't know if this crank's gonna be good. They're gonna check it, they're gonna let me know. But if it's not, I'm gonna have to find a crank, a good crank, which is gonna kind of suck, because I was really hoping that crank would be good, because $1,500 for a block and a crank is an awesome deal. Right now, the average price for both of them is $1,000. It looks like a crank is about $1,000, and then a block's like, a good block's like $1,000. So I've done a ton of research, eBay, Marketplace. They've all been my friends and stuff. So any tips y'all got, I would love to know, man. I really wish I had some more stuff to show y'all. We still got tons of parts for the truck that I didn't even get to. Like, we got, shit, my God, man. Got a downpipe. I don't even know what's in this box down here. There's something in there. I got an oil change kit there, but I won't even be able to use that for a minute. I got a track bar from Core 4x4. Still got to put on the truck. I still have those ball joints from Carly. Still got to put those on, right? So I got a lot of stuff, man. Different intercooler piping. We have Boost Auto tow or cab lights that I can't even put on yet, man. Like, it sucks. All right, you guys. So I wanted to put this in the video for the cost, like, breakdown, right? Because you might be in a situation like this where, you know, you want to get your engine, you want to fix your engine if it's blown up. If you're in a situation like me where you got a blown up engine that's not worth anything because of the core, right? So right now, and I'm gonna screenshot the notes and put it up on the screen so y'all can see it, right? Because obviously I priced everything out. So right now, what I have and what I still need to get done, I would be looking at a $5,866 to build a new motor, okay? And this is me swapping the motor myself and doing the labor myself, right? I'm not taking it to a shop because I already got a quote for that and it's not in the budget. So this is me doing this, right? So this is why this strategy that I'm going about it, where I'm letting the machine shop build the lower end. I'm pricing and I'm finding everything myself and sourcing all the stuff myself I need because I know I can get a good deal on it. And I also have vendors and stuff like that, right? So for example, if you see it on the screen, you're reading this, right? I got the block and crank for $1,500. Now this $5,800, it's probably gonna go up or be a little bit more, but small things like freeze plugs, oil jets, like small cheap stuff, right? I didn't put that small stuff in it. This is like the big like chunk of where the money's gonna be at, right? So I got the block and crank off Marketplace for 15. The Hamilton cam, the cam I pulled out was perfectly fine. There was nothing wrong with that camshaft, so I could run the stock cam. I don't know the mileage on the truck. Plus, I just wanted to upgrade the camshaft to help the engine out. So $930 for the cam. The rebuild kit I'm going with is it's like $1,250, so I put $1,200. Connecting rods, I already bought 6 of them off of eBay up in Canada for $243. Head rebuild is going to cost $643 at the machine shop, so that's something I still got to do. Is I need to pull the head off of the truck in the lot. I need to pull the head off and get it to the shop so they can break it down, and they're going to redo everything. The seals, the valves, like everything's going to be done. I'll have them put the new springs on since they're going to have to pull the valves out anyways. The Magnaflux it, all that stuff. The crank and rod studs, so the ARP fasteners, I got those for $249 on eBay. Brand new, just open box, but everything was in it. The hardware, like, never used once, so that's normally is about $320 stud kit I got for $250. And then the cylinder block and the crank machine work is $1,100 for everything. If you're really interested in all that stuff that's gonna get done, let's see. For all oil filter, they're gonna clean. So for the block and crank, they're gonna clean, mag flux it, check for cracks, check for straightness of the crank. They're gonna micro polish and grind the crank. For the block, they are going to clean, magnaflux the block, bore and hone the cylinders. If you know, they're gonna hone it, but they're gonna bore it if it needs to get bored over. Surface, they're gonna surface deck surface or deck plate the block surface. And then they're gonna clean some small parts. So all that stuff is labor intensive. And then I got the quote for the assembly. I'm not gonna put the price of what they're gonna charge to rebuild the lower unit, just because I don't want it's different everywhere you go and where you take it to. But I don't need like people being like, oh, I know someone that can get it for this price. Like, why are you charging me this? Like, do your research when you're looking for a machine shop. Don't just go to the first person you find. Do your research. Make sure they're familiar with diesel engines, right? If it's a machine shop that purely specializes in, you know, small block Chevy 350s, I'm not saying they can't do it, but try to find someone that is familiar with the diesel engines. You know, if they do tractors, John Deere's, Cats, Detroit's, Cummins, like commercial engines, that they more than likely know what's going on and what needs little small things with these motors that need to get done. So just keep that in mind. This price cost, so right now, and keep in mind, you're probably saying, well, Cam, for that much money, you could have ordered an engine. I could have, but here's the kicker is, I'm gonna have to add whatever price for an engine is out there. I need to add their core charge. So anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000, which is what I have a problem paying, because that's just essentially money I'm losing, right? Because my core is not value. And I've already reached out to companies to ask them, you know, if the block is windowed, which mine is. So window is slang for like if there's a hole in the block, they don't take nothing. It's all junk. They won't even take your head. And my head's fine, right? They won't take the block, the crank, the cam, like nothing is salvageable from a windowed motor. They don't want the liability of it. So it's a hard pill to swallow. It kind of sucks, but it is what it is, right? So this is my situation, me currently at $5,800 to rebuild an engine. Now here's a kicker too. The cool thing with the motor is upgraded. It's not just a bare stock. Like $5,800 will get me a blank stock rebuild motor. Nothing fancy upgraded. I'm going with upgraded pistons with a wider bowl. It's going to be studded up top and down low for the crank and connecting rods, and then for the head. and then it's gonna have an upgraded camshaft, 178 over 208, right? So this is an upgraded motor at 5,800 bucks so far. It'll probably, let's just say I have to go buy a crank, right? So I drop another 800 to $1,000. So now I'm at 6,800, right? Even still, this level of a build for a motor on, if I was to buy it from someone else, it's about a $10,000–$11,000 setup. Trust me, I challenge y'all to go out there and do your research, or go out there and try to find it. All the big ones, I'm not going to drop their names or nothing, because I'm not going to do that. But like all the big engine manufacturers, this setup that I'm going with is a $10,000 engine build, and that does not include the core charge. So again, do the math, right? So I think I'm on to something good. If you're in a similar situation like me, I think that this is a very, if you have the means to pull an engine and you know how to bolt on basic parts and stuff and read instructions, like this is an avenue you can do that would save you some money. I think the biggest thing is real estate and time. This is definitely not something you're just going to get done in a weekend or over a week. Like, you need to plan it out to where you're not stressing out trying to get it done. Because I could have easily bought a used motor off marketplace for like $4,000 that ran, and just threw it in a truck, and I could have been driving it like right now. But I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to put a used motor in the truck and, I don't know, just have the same thing happen again to where like I'm back to square one, right? Or like the motor is bad or some wild shit, right? So if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right. I'm gonna take my time, so that way I don't have to worry about this happening for a very long time. Hopefully never again. So I just wanted to give you guys the cost analysis / breakdown. I know when it comes to these decisions, money's a huge thing, right? And nobody likes taking out loans. Nobody likes swiping their credit cards and stuff like that. So anytime you can pay cash, it definitely helps. And another pro to doing it this way that I'm doing is I can buy the parts as time goes on, right? So I can buy the crank. I bought the engine a couple weeks ago, 1,500 bucks. Like, you don't have to just pull your card out and swipe $9,000 at one time, right? That's a hard pill to swallow, you know what I'm saying? So this method also allows you to source all the parts at your pace to where you're not like burning your wallet to a crisp, you know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to let y'all see that side of it. Let me know what y'all think. Let's see, we filming? Yeah, we live. So camera decided to cut out, so that's probably my sign to stop talking and end the video. So I'm gonna end it here now. I'm sure there's stuff I didn't go over or mention. So if you got a question or something like that, drop it down in the comments, please. Let me know. I would love to hear from you guys. It feels good to be back filming a video again. I'm gonna edit this bitch, get it chopped up, get it up on the tube today. So until next time, y'all, I appreciate y'all watching, all that good stuff. We're going to hopefully end the note and start the new year on a good note. Or end the year and start the year on a good note. So until next time, y'all take care, peace out, and be safe.